kid, right, my worst fear was skeletons. There was nothing I feared more than a skeleton. Nothing I feared more than a skeleton. So much so that when I would look at, like, let's say, my mom would bring home a jug of antifreeze, right? Set it down, and I would look away because on the antifreeze there's a poison warning, right? With the skull and crossbones in the upside down triangle. Like the little warning. I couldn't even look at that because I was so scared of skeleboomers. Like, so freaking terrified of skeleboomers. So, yeah, it was that bad. It was that bad. And there was like really one disastrous Halloween where I was dressed as like a little lamb, and I like was frozen in place because that neighbor had like a skeleton, a plastic skeleton hanging from the tree, and I like was so freaked out I couldn't even scream. I just stood there and I would not move. And my grandpa, I still remember my grandpa had like to pick me up and like carry me to the doorstep to say trick or treat. So that went on for a while, right? And then I got a little older, and then I like choose not to think about skeletons that much, right? And then and then I was like a little bit of an older toddler. My sister and I were sleeping on a bunk bed, so we had like one of those kitty IKEA bunk beds. I was on the bottom bunk, she was on the top bunk. And then I was like, and my sister was laughing about how I was really scared of skeletons, and I was like laughing too, until she was like, have you ever thought about like skeletons and how they're like inside of you? Have you ever thought about that for a second? Like, why were you scared? And I paused. I really never thought about that. I really never thought about how there was a skeleton inside of me. And instead of being like understanding like what my sister thought was gonna happen, like, oh yeah, why am I freaked out? That skeleton is inside of me. I actually started melting down. I was like crying, freaking out, absolutely losing it because I realized there was a skeleton inside of me. Like, I just completely lost it. Yeah, the skeleton's still there. And I don't know, even now, so, like, even now, if you get me thinking too much about my own skeleton, I have to disassociate for a couple days. So right now, I'm in that state, right? I'm like, oh crap. Oh, there's a skeleton inside of me. Like, still nowadays, I still have to like dissociate a little bit. It's not as bad as it was when I was a kid, obviously, but I still have this kind of fear of skeleboomers, right? Like, intrinsically inside of me.